Well, this is a video about the UK Marvel comics that have been out for the last 10 to 15 years, published by Panini Comics. Now, Marvel's reasonably successful in the UK, I mean more so now because of the films, but X-Men and Spider-Man have pretty much been non-stop all through the 70s, 80s, 90s and noughties, whereas DC Comics pretty much came to an end in the UK in the early 90s, and were gone for about 10 years. But anyway, I'll start off talking about Essential X-Men. Now, this was the first Panini Marvel comic after Marvel Comics UK kind of folded, and I think it sort of evolved into Panini or merged with Panini, who are well known for making sticker albums and things like that. And this is the first ever issue from 1995. Now, since then, they've gone on to rebrand it as Volume 2 and Volume 3, because for some reason in the UK, comics seem afraid to get over 100 issues before they want to start from number 1 again. Now, I don't know if this is for marketing purposes, so that new readers don't feel like they've missed out on 100-odd issues of storyline, and might put them off because they think they won't be able to get into the stories. But I think we're on Volume 3 now of Essential X-Men, and it's the same with Astonishing Spider-Man, which came out about a month after Essential... Well, actually, no, I think it was about the same time as Essential X-Men, sorry. No, I never got issue 1, unfortunately. I've been looking on eBay for it. I'm going to try and get it, but I've got issue 2 onwards. And once again, as with Essential X-Men, this is onto Volume 3 now, and it's just reprints of the American stories, but you get 3 issues in this of the American comic, and it started at $1.99. I think it's now at $2.96. So in the space of about 18 years, it's only gone up by less than £1, about 96 pence, which is really good value for money. I mean, not only do you get 3 issues of an American comic in it, but it's also wrapped in a cardboard cover, almost like a mini graphic novel. So they really are good quality. I'm surprised the price hasn't gone up more, considering a lot of UK comics. I mean, a lot of the more sort of kiddie-orientated UK comics, like Transformers, are £3-4 sometimes, and you get a small, very simplistic comic strip and then a load of filler material. I mean, it's terrible for the price, but I guess maybe these sell well enough that they can keep the price down. But a few months later, well, about a year later, they added a Wolverine comic to the mix, Wolverine Unleashed. Now, personally, I've never been that much of a fan of Wolverine on his own. I really like him as a member of the X-Men. I think he works well bouncing off the other characters, but on his own, I just don't find him all that interesting, to be honest. But this is also in its 3rd volume now. It started off as Wolverine Unleashed, then it evolved into Wolverine and Gambit, and then Volume 3 became Wolverine and Deadpool, which is the strip that's the comic that's still running now. And then another year later, they added Marvel Heroes Reborn to the roster. Now, this tied in with what was happening in America with the whole Heroes Reborn after the Onslaught saga. And it basically reprinted issues of Fantastic Four and Iron Man, and you'd get the Hulk and Captain America featuring in there as well. And that went on for a few years until eventually the whole Heroes Reborn storyline kind of fizzled out. It resolved itself, and Heroes Reborn evolved into Avengers. Now, Avengers has had a few titles. It started off as Avengers United, and then it was Avengers Unbeaten, I think, or something like that. And to tie in with Avengers, the movie coming out, it's been titled now Avengers Assemble, because in the UK the film was retitled Avengers Assemble, because there's already an Avengers TV show that existed in the UK, and there was some kind of copyright issue. So in the UK, Avengers is known as Avengers Assemble, and the comic, as I say, has changed its title to that as well to tie in with it. Now, on top of these 4 comics, Essential X-Men, Astonishing Spider-Man, Wolverine Unleashed and Avengers, they've also added Mighty World of Marvel, which is sort of Volume 3 of a comic strip that started back in the 70s in the UK. I think it may have even been the first Marvel reprint comic in the UK, was called Mighty World of Marvel, and that continued on into the 80s. And I do quite like it that Panini have picked up the title just for that kind of vintage feel, that nostalgic feel to it. And this basically reprints stories from all characters in the Marvel Universe. You know, you'll have a few issues with Spider-Man and Hulk, and then a few issues with, I don't know, Ghost Rider and Daredevil, and it's constantly switching around, which is nice. You know, you get to the end of a story, and then it's a different superhero focused on in the next issue. And this, the same with all the others, is 76 pages long. You know, 3 issues of the American comic in there. And at the time this came out, it was only £2.50. It's gone up now to £2.96. And then that was followed with Marvel Legends, which is a comic that focuses on Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. Basically, you know, the main members of the Avengers, but it reprints their individual comics from America. Because even with the movies, none of those 3 characters are quite popular enough in the UK to hold their own comic each yet. I mean, maybe at some point they will get their own titles, but at the minute they're all sharing one, which is fine because you get 3 issues anyway. And then to time with the Fantastic Four movie when that came out, we had Fantastic Four Adventures. Now this lasted for a couple of volumes. We got into the 100, I think there was over 100 issues of this released, which surprised me really, because I don't think Fantastic Four's ever been as popular as the other heroes in the UK at least. But it lasted well into the hundreds issues, got into volume 2, but unfortunately a few months ago that folded as well. And it was replaced by The Incredible Hulks, which is the first comic the Hulk has had to himself in the UK for probably 20 odd years. Maybe since I don't think The Incredible Hulk's had a comic of his own since the 80s. And it'd be interesting to see how long this lasts. But this has kind of continued on from once Fantastic Four Adventures ended. So at the minute in the UK, we've got 1, 2, 3, 8 Marvel comics, and that doesn't include some that are slightly more kiddie orientated. The larger format comics, you know, sort of more of a simplistic storyline to them. But I'm not going to. I'm just focusing on the special edition, as they're known, issues at the minute. I'll try and get them all in shot. I might have to put them on the floor for this. I'll try and show you sort of every different Marvel special edition comic we've had in the UK. Like I say, I think I lied a minute ago. I think I said we've got 8 Marvel special edition comics. We've actually just got 7 Marvel special edition comics at the minute. But for the UK, which has got quite a dodgy comic buying public, you know, that's pretty good. I mean, the comic industry in the UK has really never recovered from the early 90s, unfortunately. The 80s was sort of the golden age of comics in the UK. But you know, that's pretty good. It's a hell of a lot better than DC has managed, which has only got 2 comics going in the UK. But yeah, hopefully this will be of interest to anyone who in America who's just, you know, maybe wondering how we get along in the UK with reprints, or any UK collectors, because I guess for the nostalgia's sake, I do enjoy collecting